who have a little bit of technical difficulties. Go
Man,
figure.
this is easy.
Bound
This
to
is so
happen.
easy, Cody.
Yeah, so easy. We just spent the first 8
Yeah,
minutes
so-
diagnosing his problems, and now he's getting choppy again.
Yeah, it's working on the field. Once it gets up, we should be good to go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the echo's gone now.
All right. I'm trying to make sure and see. Welcome to our live show streams.
Yeah, I got it up
that's-
on the side here. I don't have sound or anything, so it's like a couple minutes behind, and it's like I can see me talking. I'm like, what am I saying at that point? Does that sound good?
I just wanted to make sure I had it for the audio.
So wild,
Yeah.
man. That good rep
For
logo
comments.
up in the top there. This looks so freaking professional. It's like
Yeah,
sick.
buddy.
It's just
Well, okay,
ridiculous.
awesome. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. We're gonna redo introduction here. Hi, I am Cody Anderson of Good Rep Media.
I did it
Good
3
Rep Media.
times, Cody.
We're a small business marketing agency. You met us last week if you were here for the live, but it bears repeating because I think there was like 2 people there. But Good Rep Media, we're a small business marketing agency. We're kind of boutique. We're kind of small. We help small businesses rank better locally. We help you get more fucking leads into your business. We help you generate more leads. We help you generate more business, generate more clients, generate more interest. And we can basically do the whole thing. We consult with a lot of different small businesses. Right now, it's a lot of service-based lawn care, spas, massage. It's a lot of our focus on those service-based businesses. I am primarily the project manager. I help these guys stay on task, and I help digest and decipher the different information that comes from above and from the sides. If you're a client interested in getting started with Good Rep Media, I'm usually the first person that you would talk to. And yeah, leading that into Jordan Vogel here. Jordan might be the second person that you would talk to. And Jordan, what do you do? What's your thing?
So what don't I do, Cody? What don't I do?
Exactly.
No. Primarily, the web designer for the company. Make the sites look pretty. Make them functional where they can. I don't do a lot of like programming of it. It's all the front facing side of it. But yeah, I mainly work on our our internal sites. I've worked on a couple of our external for a few clients here and there. But the majority of my work does come from our overarching company. We have many different revenue streams in our company. We're like our parent company is more than just digital reputation management company. And so for us, part of what keeps us afloat is building the websites for the internal side of things, and that's a lot of the work I do, trying to get websites out as fast as I can and make sure they're all quality and looking good. And then whenever there's not time to be building on the front end of the website is when I like to dive into the back end of it and begin the SEO work, making sure those websites are optimized speed wise, keyword wise, anything that you can do to make sure those websites are going to be ranking as best as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So you are almost entirely self-taught, right? Like most of this
Almost
is stuff that you picked up
entirely,
over the
yes.
years.
Yep. I did. So for the design side of things, I do have a degree in graphic design. I did go to Ferris State University in Michigan. I have an associate's degree in graphic design and a bachelor's degree in marketing. What I learned in graphic design was a lot of building up from the ground up, coding, HTML, CSS, all of that. But it's definitely kind of like the way we do things now is very different than when I went to school for it. Like, gosh, 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
I was gonna say they
like a
didn't have
lifetime
AI
ago
back
at this
then,
point
right?
now. So a lot of what I do is different than what I learned. So it was a lot of relearning, self-teaching, and every day it's just about learning a little bit more. Brain elasticity, as someone I know likes to say, or something along those lines.
Oh. And then Pierre, moving on.
Yes.
What do you do? What is your role with Good Rep? Explain it
I
to
am
me as though I don't understand already.
Okay. Yeah, no. I am basically the lead copywriter, wordsmith, content writer, editor, content marketer for Good Rep Media. Where Jordan, makes the sites look absolutely pretty. I make the content on the sites look absolutely pretty. That's essentially my job. I have to basically take a lot of the language of the client, recognize the pain points of what their customers want to solve, maybe their own pain points, and translate it in a way that makes sense from a marketing perspective. So it's often just taking a solutions oriented sort of angle, how the content should sound, without being too lingo based, because we're trying to speak to a customer and really tell a story. Often it just involves not only just telling a story but providing a solution. And I do that for a enormity of different things. It could be a blog article, it could be a brochure, it could be an ebook, even it could even be just as simple as a social media post.
So what got you into these? Like what got you into writing? What I feel like you're going a little bit broad here. Like we got social media posts, we got all this type of content. How'd you get into it? Like what made you want to write in marketing? Like that seems really specific. I know copywriting is
absolutely. Well, I started writing when I was really young, but I studied it as well. But just writing poetry, writing short stories, writing novels. I am a published author, but I started getting into marketing, getting certified, through the American Writers and Artists Inc. Association, and got certified in accelerated copywriting. But I got my bachelor's degree in creative writing. It's the essence of copywriting. It's basically storytelling, but you're storytelling, with an end goal of getting that conversion or getting that click. To maximize your ROI, with campaigns that are run on social media or native ads or what have you, search campaigns. That became pretty much the cornerstone of my work as a marketer. But I took storytelling that I've learned throughout the years growing up and just married the two. And that's actually what you do as a copywriter: is you take storytelling and you take marketing and you put it together.
Yeah, 100%. So what was the first thing you ever wrote and published, if you don't mind? I'm actually curious. I don't think you told me that.
You don't even know yet.
Yeah.
I published.
So I know, Pierre. You've got a couple of horror books, and like quick shout out. Give me.
I published my first book.
Sorry, Cody's breaking up and freezing. It's like our Zoom calls all over again. It's like our daily calls all over again. You're good now.
No.
You're good now. You're good now.
Good, right?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Okay.
I published
funny. It was just like in our daily meetings when you freeze.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
5 seconds. Okay. Your
looks pretty good. You look pretty good. Oh, But I published my first book in 2009. And it was just a horror book, and it's just a fiction author. And then I published my second book in 2010. I then republished because I was traditionally published through a house over on the East Coast, but they folded, and it was due to my editor-in-chief getting cancer. So unfortunately, it put me kind of back on square one, and I had the choice of whether or not to try to find another house or land an agent. I decided to just republish on my own, and I republished my first book in 2015 just under my own name. Republished my second book in 2016 under my own name, and then I officially had published a third book in 2019 and completely and totally under me. And those are currently on sale, but during that time I was working on my portfolio, writing for all sorts of corporations all over the world.
I think I wanted the name. What's the name of your first book? I would what's the shout out? I want you to shout
your book
out,
here.
Dude.
Yeah, free publicity right now.
Free publicity. The Cane Letters. You can find me on Amazon. It's available on Barnes & Noble as well. They picked it up. So you can actually order it directly through Barnes & Noble. It's not on the shelves yet. I have to work on a consignment deal with them. But it is available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon. It's in Kindle Unlimited as well. I mean, I think Kindle Unlimited.
That's kind of sick. I've actually seen a lot about Kindle Unlimited, direct publishing, side hustle type stuff, publishing.
It's very indie author based, but I'm also starting to get kind of hot in TikTok. I've got my copies on TikTok Shop as well.
Nice.
And that's book 1. Book 2 is Chimera Falls, and that's also available.
Yeah. Well, I know I didn't want to stick on these topics for too long. I just want to get a little bit of a background from everyone, kind of what we did, how we all do it. Jordan has that background in graphic design. He's the creative. He's the guy who actually has some type of vision. Thank goodness, because I don't. My background is in creative writing, link building, research. My degree's in history, so all I do is research and study. And it segues really well into marketing, brain plasticity, constant research, constantly finding new answers and new solutions for potential clients or for our current clients.
Marketing is 95% looking at historical data. History.
Pretty much, yeah.
Quite literally, all I am doing is looking at the history of Google Analytics on websites. 24/7.
It's like forecasting too.
I think that actually segues into what I mainly wanted to talk about, or what a good topic would be for us to chat about this time. Tools that we use for our jobs, tools that we use, software that we use, and kind of how we enjoy using them, the benefits that we get. I don't want to segue this into a talk about nothing but AI, because, oh my dear goodness, it could be an entire hour-long conversation.
That's next episode is the AI takeover of marketing.
The AI takeover is next.
The AI takeover marketing, which was like the theme, of PubCon last year.
Yeah, 100%. And it is. I mean, everything is just using AI, and more than anything, I feel like a lot of people are trying to just shove AI into their stack or into their software products. It's like, hey, so I want to say that I use AI. How can I use it? I feel like a lot of small business leaders are probably in that same boat where they're like, hey, so I run a business and people are using AI. Should I use AI? Is AI something? Can it make my business better? Can it help me with my business? And sometimes yes, sometimes no. But let's go a little bit broader. Let's go with the software that we kind of use. I'd like a highlight from each of you. Pierre, I know what you're going to highlight, so let's start with you. What's your software that you use for writing? What's the big one that you
could
enjoy?
be a number of things, but software, that's obvious. Like I use Microsoft Word, but in terms of like writing, content, I definitely use WordPress quite often. And that we often develop websites on WordPress, but that's not the only tool that I've used. I've been pretty diverse, and you kind of have to be. But I'm very, very skilled in also using Blogger, which is very much Google. But Blogger has always been a great platform to write content on. Once you get to be on all these different platforms, you see a lot of commonalities, and you can actually kind of jump right in. I've even written on Squarespace as well.
So Pierre, it sounds like you're kind of talking about like what you write on. What do you use to help you write? Is there any tools that you use that kind of help you either come up with topics or to come up with, like, if you ever like, everyone gets writer's block, like, do you ever have anything to kind of help get that ball rolling?
SEMrush has been one heck of a tool to use, because I get to see, not only helping out, with developing headlines or kind of developing a story, but to see, what's getting like the most volume online, what's, really trending out there in our industries that we write in, so that could be any of the clients that we write in. I would use and utilize SEMrush.
Jordan, I know you did. Yeah, so Jordan, I know you did quite a bit on like SEMrush, like keyword research on one of those specific tools. I know. So let's start with SEMrush. We can all chat about it because I'm sure we all use it for.
SEMrush was going to be the first one I was going to mention when it came to my turn. So.
Well, that's what I thought too. Like, I'll be fair, Pierre. I thought you were going to mention Brandwell, and I'm really surprised that you didn't.
I was sitting here waiting for Brandwell to get mentioned.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Like,
I wonder if
I didn't think that.
We said we're going to try and steer away from the AI conversation. So
yeah, that's why I didn't even bother thinking about it. The first thing that popped into my head was SEMrush. But yes, correct. I do use Brandwell as well.
Yeah, well, Brandwell is the big one, but SEMrush is using AI like for most of their things.
Absolutely. They have their own feature where you get to use AI.
Yeah, so let me dive in because I saw a feature that they started. They and others like them have launched recently. So anyone who does any type of local SEO works with these service-based businesses. There are these software products that basically help you with citations, or they help you with managing and looking at all of your different data. SEMrush is one of those. So SEMrush Local is like one of their specific packages that lets you look at different basically the Google business profile of your company, and optimizes that Google business profile. Also helps you with your citations and all of that. One of the things that I've noticed that SEMrush has started offering is if you get a review on your Google business profile, you can have AI automatically respond to it, and you can set tone of voice. So I noticed that on Local Brand Manager, which is a Local Viking, very similar, where you're kind of monitoring Google business profiles, where you have these like AI responses to reviews. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I know my thoughts, but I'm curious.
So responses to reviews have always felt super generic to me. You know, like, yeah, like sometimes you can tell like that they have like a bit of a voice to them. But really the only time you tell that is almost like when like it's like they're like spelling things wrong or something. It's like oh, a human definitely did that, you know. So like you kind of take away that, but then it adds a level of professionalism because like people who maybe don't know how to properly thank a customer who leaves a review, that's going to make it look way better than just like thank you with like a you know, like I've you know, people who don't know how to properly
there's a balance
respond.
there.
Yeah,
there's a balance there. You can kind of tell. I mean, it's tricky. It's tricky when you can, you know, determine whether or not it's AI or not, you know, but there's this authenticity that comes with a voice, you know, and when you write down a review.
And sorry, I didn't interrupt. You got to think on bad reviews as well. Like an AI response to a bad review, now all of a sudden that review means nothing to the company. Like, how are they going to improve on it if they don't see it and they just let an AI respond to it? You know, like that's true. Like one of my biggest concerns with it.
For sure.
Also
so then one of the features that I saw was super fascinating because I was logged. Every morning it's Mondays. I dive into stats as much as I can on Monday mornings, check everything over. One of the things that I noticed looking at SEMrush this morning was that AI responder, it can be set up to automatically respond to 4 and 5 star reviews, but not 1 through 3 star reviews.
Okay.
So there's actually like the thought process SEMrush has in to be like, okay, we don't want to respond to those lower level reviews. But my thought is, would those get lost? Do you even want to respond to 1, 2, and 3 star reviews?
I feel like you do. I feel like I feel like that's more important to respond to than 4 and 5 star reviews because that is showing that care to improve or to like. I mean, it also depends on how you respond. You know, if someone says this is a horrible service and you go, "Hey, fuck you, Becky," you know, like, like that's not doing
that's not going to go over well.
But if you're like, "Hey, how can we make this better?" That can only look good for you. You know, like,
absolutely,
that can only help your reputation.
For sure.
You kind of have to respond. Generally, you have to respond to all of them, honestly, in some form. It's easier to respond to the positive reviews. It's more nuanced to respond to the negative ones.
So growing off of my concern of like the lower star reviews not getting touched or having an AI do it, if you can set it to them not, my new concern is, are people setting auto comments or auto replies and then forgetting about it, and then all of a sudden it's like I have 6 bad reviews, but I don't check reviews anymore because AI is doing it for me, and now all of a sudden I don't know that these are issues.
Those are the dangers, you know, of AI, is thinking that AI is just going to do it all for you, and you just kind of leave it alone.
And I've fallen into those pit traps using AI for other things. You know, it's like, I've gotten to the point where I don't read things as close anymore because I'm just like, AI's got it. Even though I know about hallucinations, I know AI doesn't have it. You know, but like,
correct.
I think it just becomes easy, and we're humans, and like, the easiest route is the route humans are always going to want to take, and so you just got to be mindful of that when you're working with AI.
Well, and you're building up certain habits, you're building up ways of use. So like, if every single time you are doing a page title on your website and you're shoving that into ChatGPT, well, your site might have 50 to 100 pages on it. After 50 to 100 page titles, you're not going to be reading every single one. You're going to be like, hey, follow the same page title tag for all 100 of these. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Now, mind you, that's a lot quicker than it used to be. But reading all of those things is now no longer part of your habit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, breaking those habits, I think, is the biggest problem. Because, like you said, as soon as you stop responding, you're like, okay, AI is responding to my reviews. I'm not worried about 1 through 3 star. I don't want responses to those. Now you're not seeing those. You're ignoring them. They're not popping up for you. They're not relevant for your business. and you're trying to almost pretend that they don't exist, and those are important reviews to respond or to interact with. If
you're no longer using AI as a tool. You're not even using AI as a tool anymore. You're just kind of using it as a replacement, and that's dangerous.
Yeah,
it's dangerous from a marketing perspective.
I remember back in the day, like going to the doctor, and like I was like, when I was like a young kid, and I got prescribed like Concerta, and like he's like, hey, just so you know, like this is like a hammer, all right? This isn't going to do the work for you. You still need to swing the hammer, but it's going to be a whole hell of a lot easier to drive that nail with this hammer than your hand. And like
what an excellent metaphor.
I think that applies great to AI.
It's an excellent metaphor.
AI
does.
is a nice hammer to use to hammer in a nail, so that we don't have to go creating random tools.
But you still need to actually use it.
But you still need to swing it. That is a really, really good breakdown. I like that breakdown a lot. But I also agree. Like if you're
clip it, chat.
Yeah, clip it. Definitely.
Clip it in the chat, please.
You just kind of nailed it because everyone understands that. Everyone understands that. And it never occurred to me that's actually a good image to use as a hammer. It's a tool,
Yeah,
but it's not going to use itself.
Build your house. You build the house.
You have to do it, and how you use it really, really does matter. It's the same with AI. How you use it matters.
So then, anyways, excuse me. With SEMrush, they are integrating those AI tools, which I think is fascinating. Like, there's definitely AI overviews of everything. Have AI look over your site. But in SEMrush, personally, a lot of what I use are the different projects as well as the keyword research and the site audits. Jordan, what would you say you use most when you're using SEMrush? What do you say what most valuable tool you use is?
Site audit, number one, for sure. Looking at the health of your site, figuring out any errors, issues, or concerns that you may have on the site, getting them fixed as fast as possible.
Loading times too. You get to see loading times and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
As well.
So it tells you when loading times are bad. I'm willing to bet there probably is a way to go in there and be like, what is the loading time of each page and kind of get an idea for it. But really, my main use is it flags when one is bad, and I work to improve that. That's still one of my biggest hurdles to overcome. I kind of talked to you guys about that earlier today. It's load times can be tough because it seems like it's easy. Make files smaller, make the code easier to read. And then you go do that stuff, and it's like, hey, this is still taking too long to load. And then it's like, I have no idea where to go here. And that's one of the things that SEMrush can kind of help you with. It can point you towards the things that maybe need to be improved. But outside of that site audit tool, the keyword magic tool is huge. Admittedly, I haven't been as big on that since we have Pierre now kind of generating a lot of the copy for the sites. But when I was doing the copy for the site and all the content for the sites, that was a huge one for me to help kind of target what keywords should be honed in on each page. And it's beautiful because it gives you it allows you to do it locally or regionally or nationwide. So if I'm hey, I'm trying to figure out how we rank in Grand Rapids for this keyword, or how competitive this keyword is in Grand Rapids, you can jump in there and you can see that. Or if you're I need to figure out all of Florida or all of the United States, it'll help you figure out all of that. And I think that that's absolutely great.
Yeah. And just to kind of bring that back to what the point is. Again, the whole point, small business, local business. If you're operating a small business and you want to target local people, SEMrush will give you keywords that you should target. If you're a massage business, just as an example, SEMrush will give you an idea of okay, so people are Googling manual lymphatic drainage. They want to know what that is. They're Googling, Thai massage. They're Googling Reiki massage. They're Googling these specific things and in what volume. And so as a service-based business, this can be really helpful information where, okay, you are a photographer. How many people are searching for wedding photographers in your city? How many people are searching for event photographers? How many people are searching for Little League baseball photographers? Is that something that someone Googles? This is the type of research that I get into. And this is what really, tickles me pink, because I love seeing that type of data where I'm able to kind of look and be like, okay, cool. We have this massage client. They got a whole bunch of stuff going on. They have all these services, but they don't really have a match service for, sports massage, just as an example. And I notice in the city that they operate in, sports massage is searched more than any other massage because it's a big sports city. You know, we've got a lot of outdoor whatever. There's a lot of events. We host marathons, whatever it might be. Just in this example, we have a bunch of sports. So why doesn't he offer a sports massage? Definitely some low hanging fruit. We can definitely add a page, add that service. It's something that he can do because he has that skill. So it's something that we were able to kind of go back and forth with him and be like, yo, hey, this is a business idea. Do you want to approach this? Is this something you want to offer? And that's a big benefit to them.
And then just like a little byproduct of something like that happening, you know, that then you have an opportunity to create excitement over something new. You can run some ads. Look at what we're doing. We're expanding. We have a new massage that, you know, like we're tailoring this to you guys because this is what we know you want. Come see what we have to offer. You know, every opportunity you have to do something like that, like creates new opportunities to promote and to grow. And you know, having a tool like SEMrush to really find those opportunities is huge.
Yeah, and similarly with those writings, Pierre, I know you use Brandwell in addition to SEMrush for your keyword research when you're writing. But when you're writing these articles for small businesses, you're using those same local keywords. You're doing that same type of research, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I actually use both to great effect. I think there's almost this element of like a more is better, you know, kind of mentality because I use SEMrush and Brandwell consecutively to really nail down a lot of the target keyword phrases and the topics as well to see, you know, what really is trending out there. Like I use SEMrush to kind of get an idea of the kind of topics that I want to use. And then I use Brandwell to take those topics and develop something that is really in line with my vision of what I want to communicate in terms of like the product or the service or what have you, or even like what kind of audience I'm talking to. And often I will use prompting as well. I would actually develop a real accurate prompt as to like what the article should sound like, you know. But it all starts off often with SEMrush. Sometimes I will just end up using Brandwell because sometimes SEMrush won't have the material that, you know, I will need. So having that option available, you know, with the more is more, like the more tools that I have at my disposal, the better, you know, and streamlined I am with developing the content in a way that it really hits those KPIs. You know, it hits those KPIs for any of the companies that we're writing content for. Once I have that situated on Brandwell, then it just offshoots in like so many different directions. Like it could, you know, go into email, it could go into social media and stuff.
Yeah. So from like a top down view, can you run me through like one of the articles you wrote for a client, like start to finish? I gave you an idea, like it gets assigned to you. You know what you're targeting. What would you do? Like, do you have an example that you can run us through? Because I'm curious.
I think so. Let me like kind of run back through my head and like, you know, it's like you give me an idea, you know, for like
that. Ask me for 20 Hatchet articles. We've got to do
these. Yeah, exactly. Already in my head, honestly, you know, when you brought that up to me, you know, like a Hatchet article, you know, talking about short codes, I think I would just go into SEMrush and then come up with some topic ideas that would involve short codes, you know, text marketing, SMS marketing, things like that.
Let's really focus on clients, not the internal stuff. For anyone who might be listening, Hatchet is one of our internal tax preparation brands that we write for.
Yep.
We have our company owns a tax company, so we help them generate some clients and some newsletters.
I think we can stick with massage because we do have a client that's in massage.
Anything for massage or spa.
And I'm thinking just kind of incorporating all the different types of massage as well as, you know, just to build out the reputation. Reputation management is like one of those key things, you know, that you always want to focus on when it comes to content marketing anyway. And so just building out that repertoire is like super, super huge. So I would go on to SEMrush and just type in Thai massage, you know, and see what comes up in terms of topics. You know, what's trending, what's hot, what's getting the most volume. I look at all the headlines, and it also pulls up a lot of the FAQs, you know, any questions that are being asked, you know, but it gives me an idea of like what I want to kind of steer toward and what will get the most engagement, what will get the most visibility, am I getting the most eyes on this content? Then I would go into Brandwell and then either, find a link that, maybe I want to emulate a little bit, type in that link in there. This looks good. And then I would tweak it and edit it and refine it in a way that is more aligned with the brand identity. Want to make sure that it aligns with the actual client as well, because we want it to speak to the client, as much as to the customers as well of that client. And then of course it develops the content. Once it gives me a draft, and then I'm going to start editing and start, adjusting a lot of, the voice, what that actual content is starting to speak. Once that is complete, then I will just take that content, put it on the website, and it will typically be WordPress. I want to incorporate images as well. And that's something that in general, I don't necessarily need to use AI to do, because of course you probably noticed, Jordan, AI is not terribly good, with images, which is why we often will use, like our Shutterstock account. I will harness a lot of the royalty-free stuff.
AI is good at editing images. I think if you want to edit a small part of a image, does a great job. If you want it to generate something from the ground up, horrible.
It can be
like Emily's work. Like Emily changed Cody's the color of his shirt and a few other things using AI. Cody didn't even realize that in his image. She was like,
"Yeah, no, it looks pretty good." Yeah,
and it's because if you take an already made image and then you're like, I just need this section of it changed, it can do a fantastic job. And it might not the very first time, but you run it 3 or 4 times.
Sure, absolutely.
You find something that's going to work great.
Again, always going back to using it as a tool.
Rainforest in the process, hearing what AI is really doing for the environment, but
right.
But it is the iteration on it. It is the ability to ask for, hey, edit this 4 different times, give me 4 different options to choose from, so that I can see 4 different ways that you could approach these things. And I think that's fantastic. But kind of bringing this in, if I'm a small business owner, so I own a massage business, are we publishing a blog every single week? Should I be blogging? What is the goal for the blogs that I'm writing if I'm a small business owner? What is the goal as a copywriter for a small business website? Am I writing 5 articles a week, 1,000 words each? What should be my goal if I'm a small business owner, if I'm wanting to get content out there and get clicks?
Honestly, probably the most important thing is just consistency. But it would take a little bit of this competitive analysis, looking at the white space analysis, that involves in your competitor space. What are they producing? They could be producing 2 a week. They could be producing 1 a week.
So yes, I agree 100% that consistency is within the top 3 most important things you can do with content. I think the number 1 most important thing is making sure that content provides value that isn't just generic spit on a page. You need to provide something that's unique and valuable. And then you need to make sure you are doing it, like you said, consistently. And that's not 2 articles a week. That's Monday and Thursday. That is
they can almost expect
that there is a schedule to your content.
Prospects can expect it coming from a brand.
Yeah. Well, it's
almost immediately.
I think that segues into almost everything. I mean, even if you're going into live streaming, like what we're doing here, if you're going into meeting up weekly to go to trivia night, if you're talking about playing card games together with your friends, if you have something where it's consistent every single Monday of the week, every single 16th of the month, those are the things that we tend to remember when they're consistent. And so, for example, live streaming, if you're going to live stream, go live at the same time every day and stay live for the same amount every day. If you're going to be active on social media as a business, be active consistently so people know when to expect you to be live and they know what content to kind of expect from you. I know personally a lot of
all content too. Video content, written content,
well, exactly,
all of it.
Yeah. They do something very similar where their content that they produce is comedic, on brand, but it's consistent.
It's got to be on brand.
100% consistent. It's not like they're trying to find their brand voice every single video, and it's a different vibe, a different setup. which I think, you know, muddies the waters a lot for people.
Right.
But yeah, I think personally for a small business, if you're looking at getting into like content creation, if you're looking at like, hey, I want to start writing articles, I want to get more visitors to my website. One, there's a very large checklist of things to do before you get started on like writing content, but also writing content and getting videos out there. It's never going to be the perfect time. Like, I think that bears saying. I think we can all agree with that. It's never the right time to make content. It's never the right
No,
time
it
to
never
write
is.
an article. But
it's also always the right time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then if it's never
The
right
opposite
time,
is true
it's
too.
always the right time.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
you can always do these things. So get out there and fucking do it. Like, do the thing. And more than anything else, if you
It's sounding all TikTok right there. Do the thing. Do the thing.
Well, and it is. I feel like that's today. Like, today is in
Yeah,
like
right.
2025 is like, you want to be authentic, because if you're not authentic, then people are gonna think you're AI. You want to be
absolutely.
You want to be blunt and upfront. Oh, you have to say, Jordan?
I was just gonna say, it's crazy. It's like AI is getting so good for like video and everything like that. That like now it's getting to the point where I'm watching real videos and I'm like, that's fucking AI. you know,
it's like starting to blur the lines a little bit. It's actually starting to blur the lines a little bit, and it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary that you can watch something, you go like, is that AI? Oh my gosh.
It's terrifying and exciting at the same time.
It is exciting.
I love the thought that like, it's like, if I want an action movie based around like my like little superhero concept book that I started writing like a couple years ago, it's like I can now plug that into AI and I can see what that would look like as a movie. You know, like that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like a trailer. You can develop a trailer that's completely generated by AI.
That we can do, but I think there are. Oh, we are not set up to handle these things.
No,
like I always laugh at the comments that are like, "I'm so gonna be scammed," because I am. I'm gonna get scammed.
Yeah,
those videos are way too real, man. Like,
yeah.
I legitimately, you could be using VO3 right now, and I would have no idea. Like, are you an AI agent on this meeting right now?
I tried to play around with that over this like past weekend. My brother's like, let's try and make a video of you fighting Mike Tyson, and I was like, that sounds like that'd be awesome. And then I went to play with it, but like I did like the free trial month that you can get of like the VO2, but like it wouldn't let me upload my own image. I could only prompt a video. If you wanted to like be like, here's me, take a picture of me, and then have me fight Mike Tyson on it, like. You have to have like the $150 a month version of it, and it's just like that's pretty crazy. Heavy. So at least there will be some that AI can do that. Like Johnny Scumbag can't come just like nobody's gonna spend $150 a month to meme. That's not true. Someone will, but like I think
I was gonna say someone is spending $150 to make scam videos right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say someone is, but I think that's gonna create a little bit of a barrier. It's not gonna flood the world as quick. In 3 years, it's not gonna be $150 to do that. When when you're gonna have Estonian companies like making their own, it's like $10 for a month, and it's like
$10.
How everybody's doing it. There's going to be a free iPhone app here in 5 years that's going to do everything that VO3 does right now.
Well, it's not even, the thing is, it's not even going to be 5 years down the line. Like a lot of those AI guys, and I always think this is super, super fun and super crazy. And this is, again, conversation for the AI next week. Next week is all AI. We're going to be here at Monday noon next week. We're going to be talking about Joey Matterhorn and AI, how AI works on the Joey Matterhorn channel. Or at least how we as a marketing company interact with AI and how scary it is for us.
I am so fortunate that I developed so much content. I've already developed so much content for Joey Matterhorn that is lined with AI. It's just everything about AI. Everything about AI. You know, it's trending. I mean, that's why, you know, it's like we're in on it. We're already kind of dialed into like, you know, what's in the grapevine. I'm writing about AI in terms of marketing, you know.
I think it helps that we're actively using it and that we're you know, we're in it every day.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I have a side hustle that I do where I worked in prompting and data engineering. So I do prompt AIs like on my free time because it's fun. It's interesting to learn. And I think it's a really, really important skill for people to have is understanding how these AI agents are going to work, understanding how AI works, and what it can and cannot do for you. I think there's definitely, like, I want to be clear, it's not great for the environment. It is really, really bad right now. We're also in a situation where we functionally cannot operate without our jobs, or we can't do our jobs without AI at this point.
Without falling behind, it's impossible. Like
it's
so competitive that if you're not using it, like you're losing to your competitors, basically.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy to look at our job and be like, well, 5 years ago you weren't using AI. You can do your job now without AI. But it's like, but if everyone else is using it, they're going to be miles ahead of us. And
pretty much, yeah.
And we won't be able to do
small
as well
businesses
for our clients.
too.
Like it is really easy for me to sit here and be like, okay, if you're a small business, optimize your Google business profile. Make sure you schedule your posts once a week on your whatever. Make sure your logo is all set up. Make sure your NAP is correct. But like when I talk about AI answering reviews, imagine you're getting 100 reviews a day or 100 reviews a month, and you're having to respond to all of those. Imagine you are operating 100 different websites and you need to write content for all of those. I would need an individual writer for every single one of those content, or we're able to kind of use AI projects, and have an AI agent attached to that content. Now, 100% AI can't produce content that I think should exist on the internet. It's being used to overproduce on the internet. Like,
you need someone overhead, to actually monitor all that stuff. Someone who's like, very, very
exactly. You need an editor. You need someone monitoring the AI. But at this time, like, there's so much AI content out there. I think it goes back to Jordan, what you were saying about good content. It needs to be.
It's got to be good content.
Shit.
But it's funny that you mentioned that though, because when I prompt AI, my prompts are very extensive and descriptive. I'm basically trying to tell AI exactly what I needed to do, and sometimes it's like writing a paragraph.
It's almost more like you write the thing you want to write, and then you're like, now tweak it. It's a lot like the images that I talked about earlier.
Exactly. Like what you tell AI to do
something from the ground up, it's gonna be artificial. It's not like there'll be obvious parts in it where you're like, this isn't real. But if it's like, hey, fix this section of this big thing that I did, it's gonna sneak in there, and it's gonna look a lot better because the AI can focus 100% of its ability on making that one bit better.
Because you're telling AI to zero in on this one thing that needs to be worked on, that needs to be improved, and that's where AI kind of shines. But like like a prompt, if you're being lazy with your prompts, well then AI is going to be lazy, and it's going to look very, very archaic and very mechanical, and it's just not going to be effective.
Well, and it's on the opposite end of the spectrum here, I've been having a lot of fun prompting with minimal to no context to see what context, like, for example, ChatGPT
comes up,
give to what I give them.
Yes.
So, like, for example, the real world example, I just did this. We use Riverside FM here to get these live streams up and running. This is our second one. We're still figuring it out. Obviously, we had to stop after like 7 minutes to fix my audio. But now we're in a good spot. This is great. We figured it out. Hopefully next week we don't run into that issue. But I did run into an issue where we were trying to get set up on our Good Rep Media YouTube channel. I was trying to connect Riverside FM to our YouTube channel so that we could stream on our Good Rep channel as opposed to the Joey Matterhorn channel we're on now, and get that all kind of figured out. But I wasn't able to. Every time I used Riverside FM and tried to connect it, it was giving me an error. So I went to ChatGPT and I legitimately just screenshotted that error in the background and I sent it to ChatGPT.
Sure. Yeah.
No prompt, nothing, just a screenshot. And it came back with like 5 or 6 different, it looks like you're experiencing an error on Riverside FM. Here, try this step, try this step, try this step, try this step, try this step. And I looked at what they gave me. I read the headlines. I didn't read all of it because it gave me way too much. But that's what it's recognizing. Like, the better you prompt it, the more focused. But because I didn't give it anything, it gave me a bunch of different things that the issue could possibly be. And what that does is it helps save my mental energy from needing to basically think of all 6 of those options. Like, hey, I have this issue. What could it be?
That's the other side of it that is super helpful.
Like, hey, could it be that the YouTube channel is not ready to stream or not approved? Blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
And so it was really useful to just go really broad. And we did end up figuring out what it was. Like, ChatGPT led me through the whole thing. It was like, it could be this, it could be this. Follow this link, check this, follow this link, check this.
Right,
that was
right.
Phenomenal. Like that
fun fact too is like
prompt gave me a whole bunch to work from. I really like that. But I do agree.
I can use that for content as well. But on the research side of things, when I keep it minimal, and not as detailed, it's a huge benefit research wise. You can just look up all sorts of content and it just pulls up almost like an info dump, a whole lot easier to just gather as much resources to make everything very much more well-rounded, that I can then kind of pick and choose what I maybe want to zero in more and then prompt more detailed for, AI to come up with something that is more aligned with my vision. But yeah, I use that as well. I keep things a little bit more basic, when just trying to get more quantity to pull out the quality, from what I'm gathering, with AI.
I think AI prompting is like the whole thing.
It is. It's a new skill set now.
I find
it is definitely a new skill set.
I recently played around a little bit with using one AI to build a prompt for another AI just to see how it goes. Yeah. That's been fun. Oh,
it works.
It works great.
Oh, okay, I see.
The AI is it's almost like they know each other. Like it's a little community, and
man, that's a thought that I've never actually tried. Is like using Brandwell to come up with prompts,
or vice versa. Like use a prompt from GPT to take it over to Brandwell or something like that. Or at the very least be like, hey, what do you know about these AI? What is the best way to format my prompt or something like that? Even if you don't have your own, because
using AI to retrain yourself on using AI.
Yeah, there is generic prompting format that all AI kind of use this. There's a great course on SEMrush for marketing that will kind of give you a little bit of information on how to prompt it and everything. But I personally, and I don't have any facts to back it up, but I personally believe not all of these AIs are the same, and some of them may
they're
take
not.
a better format. They take format better than others, and that's
Claude,
fun. That's fun to
Gemini,
play with. You burn a rainforest down while you do it, but it is fun to do.
Well, and that makes me super curious. So I've definitely gone through full chats, back and forth with ChatGPT, prompting back and forth until I get the answer that I want. I'd be so curious going in and being like, okay, awesome. Can you rewrite everything we discovered in this conversation as a prompt for Claude or as a prompt for Bard or Grok or whatever it might be? Can you rewrite all of this as a prompt so that I can verify the information you've given me with another AI? And it would give me a prompt, and I've never done anything like that. That's fascinating. I'd be super curious if it would give me similar information.
It'd be stretching the bandwidth of AI and see how far it can actually go. But you're using the tool very smartly there, very intelligently. But yeah, it goes back to the user, how are you using AI? And you're being very clever and very creative, and that's where the value is. You being very creative with AI, you are still the value behind the tool.
And I do think you need to be ready for the cannibalization. If you are asking AI to create a prompt for another AI, and then you're can you create another prompt for another AI? At that point, you're just having AI learn from itself and not accomplish anything. And I know that there is going to become a point. So this is again, conversation getting down
we're not supposed to talk about AI like this right now, guys.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. But finishing this up, we're hitting the end of our hour here. We'll do our little sign off and all of that. But to kind of finish up the AI conversation is I do feel like there's prompting that is good. There's prompting that's bad, and there's a lot that can be done with AI. I don't think we're at a point where AI is the savior of everything yet. I think we might be completely screwed if we continue on the route that we're going with AI, but
who knows?
It's tempting.
Maybe
we have
AI
to avoid
is going
the temptation.
To take over maybe AI will take over the world in a way that is good. We're all AI is going to think the only way to save the world is to destroy it. And it's no, dog, we got fresh water to everybody. We're good. AI became sentient and figured out how to turn salt water into fresh water at zero waste. We're good. Nobody works anymore. Everything's communist, but in the good way.
But in the good way.
In the good way. Well, and it is almost like like you see those dystopian like movies and TV shows and stuff about AI, and they're like, you have enough resources for every human. Why are humans dying? Save yourself. And I'm like, yeah, AI, please come do that, because that would be awesome. But anyways, to kind of wind this down, my name's Cody. I work for Good Rep Media. I'm a project manager over here. Jordan.
I'm Jordan. Wrong way.
That's Jordan.
Yeah,
wrong
He
way.
works as a web designer.
You're pointing the wrong way.
We've got over here.
You're pointing at the edge of my
this-
laptop screen. For me, you are this way. Pierre is this way. And
Actually,
looking
no.
at it
I'm on the right.
Yeah,
I think I'm
Pierre's
on the right.
2 over that way. Regardless,
Well, that's so
I'm
weird.
just, I'm
It's
just
showing
holding
up
this here
different.
until I see it come up on the actual YouTube video, so I know that.
Like it shows up differently for me. That's kind of wild. Oh well, you know.
Oh yeah, no, it came up backwards. The YouTube video is
no, I
backwards
think-
for me.
I think
pointed
Jordan
at
is
Cody
AI
first,
generated.
Then I pointed at Pierre, but then I pointed at
Jordan's
Pierre
an AI
first.
agent.
Yeah, Jordan's
Okay.
AI generated. He's not really there, and Cody's not really there either.
Eat, man.
Yeah,
But
we're
hey,
all fake.
thanks for joining us on this Joey Matterhorn Live. This has been the Good Rep team. We will be back next Monday at noon for your lunch hour conversation.
We can talk about stuff all the time. We do this
yes,
in our
we'll
10
probably
a.m.
be diving
meetings.
into
We talk about
diving
everything and anything.
I don't know how we're going to talk about AI. We've already covered everything there is to talk about AI.
We've done it. We've done
It's,
it.
it's just
All
part of
the
our
I'm
things
gonna
work.
have to
It's
AI
part of our
some
work, you know,
prompts.
like
to talk about
You know.
AI.
you,
We'll
you
get
just
some
have to nail
prompts.
down a specific topic within AI, and then we can talk about AI from that specific topic.
I'm going to
And
have
we
a
can
chat
just go to
GPT
town on it.
chat up on the side window here that's like, here are some interesting topics about AI to talk about.
Yeah, because it's like all over. Like maybe you can zero in on one industry or something like that.
Yeah, no, we've very, I'm joking, we've very much just scratched the surface on things to talk
Oh,
about
there
with
is
AI.
so much to
Pretty
AI
much,
that we can chat
Pretty
about.
much. It's like
And
ridiculous.
it's growing. Like by next week, there might be a whole other, like we're at the point of exponential growth with AI that next week, the fucking dystopia that we just talked about could happen. I mean,
Oh,
fucking
God.
world is
I
about to
was
be under
gonna say,
martial law,
This is
so.
dystopia.
Tune in next week to see if the dystopian AI revolution has happened. If not,
You will know. You will already
You will
know.
But we'll look forward to
my
chatting
Lord.
with you guys all next week. Thank you for joining us on this live show. We really appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.